honestly about this particular section because I don't have the perfect arrangement to set it up. It's the ESP, External Signal Processor. It is one of the cool features that the MS-20 and the MS-20 Mini possess. And what does it do? Basically, and you're not going to see this in very many places, especially in production model vintage synthesizers or even synthesizers now, or really synthesizers ever. That's not true. There's probably an example of it somewhere. But what the external signal processor basically does is it takes an input signal, identifies its pitch and its amplitude, and converts the pitch and amplitude to voltages, which it will send out to different parts of the synthesizer. That's amazing. Let me say this again. It identifies pitch. It listens to an incoming sound and it identifies, often accurately, the frequency of that. Here, let's real quick do a demonstration so you know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't have this set up perfectly, and to be honest, it takes a little while, sometimes a long while, for you to figure out how to exactly get it to recognize the frequency of your input signal. And this is nothing new with the MS-20 Mini. The MS-20, it was the same way. Let's see if we can get it to do something. Okay, my terrible singing aside, you can hear that it is matching the frequency of my voice. And this is what it does. But a lot of times, it doesn't track perfectly. That is how it is. That's how it was in the original. That's how it is here. And a lot of times it will weirdly choose notes that are in harmony with the notes that you're singing. And I've never understood why it does that, but I suppose it has to do with frequency content. But still, it's really fun and it's really cool. And a lot of times the mistakes it makes are cooler than what you had originally intended. Let me talk a little bit about how I have this set up currently. Okay, I have just a cheap microphone going into the signal in. I have gone to great lengths to set it at the right signal level. The low cut frequency and high cut frequency, which I'll talk about in a moment, is super awesome because it allows you to shape the input signal so that it can be processed effectively by the ESP, but it also acts as a further yet filter, another filter. You have a bandpass filter on an input here, and I'll show you how to do how cool that is in a second. We have a CV adjust, which is helping it adjust the frequency, the voltage output to match the frequency going out to the synthesizer. And the threshold level, which is measuring obviously what the threshold level is. So what I currently have it set up to do is I have a microphone input going into the input, and then I have the frequency to voltage output going into the VCO 1 and 2 CV in. So basically we've cut off the control of the keyboard to the oscillator's pitch, and we're replacing it with another control voltage source which will define the pitch that the oscillators are receiving. I have the output from the envelope out going into the filter so that this envelope output basically is converting the amplitude of the input signal to a voltage and that voltage is controlling where the filter cutoff point is. So you can hear as my voice gets louder, the filter's opening up and closing back down and opening up and closing back down. Lastly, we have a trigger out. Ba, 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 ba. One of us was out of tune. It was probably me. So I have the trigger out coming out, and it's going into the trigger input. So basically, the keys on your synthesizer are sending out two different types of information. One is a voltage of what frequency that key should be making, and the other is a trigger. It's a pulse that's sent to the envelope to tell the envelope to open. And so what we're doing here with this trigger out is we're directing that pulse to the trigger in, which tells the envelopes to open. And that's why usually you can see if I press the keys, the trigger from the keys makes the envelope light up. So that's kind of the setup I have right now. But we can use this, we can direct these outputs to really anything. To any input. We can direct any of these voltages that are coming out of here. Anything that accepts a trigger, we can plug the trigger input to. And anything that accepts voltage, we can plug the envelope out to. And let's not forget that we also have two other outputs. One is a straight out, so like you can plug audio of whatever kind. Here, I'll just demonstrate it. You can plug this output right here, just takes the output of whatever's going in, and you can direct that to the external signal in, and then control the volume. Test.
I totally lied to you.
So you can take the output, you can take the input, plug it into the signal in, and then this output, and direct it into the external signal in. We'll cue the envelope by pressing a key. And, well, actually, why would we do that when we can do this? I'll take the trigger out from the external signal processor, put it into the trigger in. We have the microphone going in and a straight audio output going into the external signal in, so this should work.
Check, 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 check.
I'm going through the filter so my voice sounds weird.
Check, 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 check.
So my voice is causing the envelope filter to occur, and it's also causing the amplitude, or the VCA, to open up so that you can actually hear me. And
that's just me going straight into it. I can do something else here. Here, let's turn off the filters so you can hear how my voice is supposed to sound. Check, 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 check. Okay, that's just my voice going into the thing. We can take it.
This other output, which allows us to shape it. Check, check, check,
check, check, check, check, check, check, check.
To shape the input sound with the bandpass filter that exists in the ESP. Yeah, you've got another filter. And so we can shape my voice and choose what frequencies go in, and then use the filters that exist here as well.
Check, 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 check.
You're sick of me saying check, I know you are. But yeah, we have the ability to filter my voice with this low cut frequency and high cut frequency bandpass filter that exists right here in the external signal processor. And also,
I'm also triggering the envelope. Yes, that's not very fair.
So yeah, we have the ability to do, as I just said, 10 times in a row. And this is really cool because you could be doing this with something other than a voice, a musical instrument, or a drum loop, or another synthesizer's sound. And we can also direct for example, let's take the envelope out. This is measuring the amplitude of my voice and put it into check. Quiet. Louder, louder. As you can hear, my voice the amplitude of my voice is controlling the VCA, the amplifier, the synthesizer. So the quieter my voice is, the quieter the VCA is, the louder, etc. And I know you'd like to hear me direct it to every single input to hear what we could do, but the possibilities are just endless. So that is a really, really basic description of the functionality of the external signal processor. It has always been kind of wonky in regard to pitch, and that's one of its charms because it'll create outcomes that you will want. And sometimes it won't track perfectly, and other times you'll be able to get it to track really well. It's a quirky function, but it's really cool. And just in the way that, if you're not tracking pitch, you have incredible control over how an external signal will control the synthesizer. It in itself, just on its own, would be something worth paying a lot of money for, in my opinion. And its integration into the MS-20 is just one of the reasons why this synthesizer is just really incredible.